Hey everyone, Incoherent here, back with more Rome Total War gameplay. Today we're on turn 21 of the Julii faction, and as you can see, we're doing really well. We're down in the dumps in finances, because we spend our money as soon as we get it. And in population, we turn our people into armies or money, so they all vanish. Sort of unfortunate. But we're also up to 19 regions controlled. That's actually a lot lower than I would hope to be at this point in time. I feel like I should be going faster than I am. So I suppose let's get conquering. I am deeply confused by the fact that my family tree appears to be wider than the screen can show. What is this? Well, this screen might need some UI improvements. But I was there to check if I have any family members coming of age soon, and the answer looks like no. The reason I care about that is because I already have this doom stack and this doom stack moving east. And also this will eventually be a doom stack marching on Egypt. I was wondering, do I really need this going east? Could I maybe bring it this direction and start going to war with Gaul? And I suppose the answer is, I could, but why would I? And I'm going to send it east too. One thing I will do, however, is I'm going to let Decius Julius take command of this, and I'm going to start sending my faction heir north to Bialzora, so that he can eventually take control of a reinforcement army and march on Dacia and Thrace. Because this army, once it conquers Thracia's main cities, is just going to build a port, get on a boat, and jump over to Anatolia. So having this guy separate off to start picking up mercenaries and reinforcements and conquer Dacia before moving west is probably a good move. And again, I just really regret building the fort wall. That's way more defensive and slower than you ever need to be in Rome Total War Vanilla. And with no money and everyone having made their moves, I believe it's time to end our turn and see what happens. Apparently there's an Egyptian diplomat at Rome, so I feel kind of slighted that he never bothered talking to me. Yeah, I would love to trade with you. Do you have any interest in paying me for that, though?
Greetings.
I'm gonna need map info.
Regretfully, we must decline.
Look, I'll even trade my map info for your map info if you give me trade rights.
Generous proposal.
Well, Greece, I don't even know where your last city is. So if you throw in map info, no particular reason, then I might consider it.
Regretfully, we must decline.
Alright, I'll kill you eventually then. The Greek cities are spying on me. I have this guy I can adopt, and Kydonia is very upset. Well, that's not good. I might have accidentally taxed them more than I should have. They'll be fine. So a candidate for adoption. A 1-star commander. I'm just going to hit yes immediately, because it seems like there are gameplay mechanics in place where if I intentionally move the person adopting him or change my capital, it might just make him die. So, where is he? Apollina. I'm going to send you up to go help Quintus eventually with building a reinforcement army. Go ahead and bring this boat around. Hop them on the boat. And, well, there haven't been any rebel attacks in a while, so I'm sure he'll be fine. Meanwhile, we're going to get on the boat. And I just realized I totally know where Greek's last city is. It's Rhodes. But I'm mysteriously not able to get off this turn. Even though it really seems like I should be able to. So I guess I'll just stand here menacingly. As, despite having movement... Oh, I guess you can't stand on the Colossus is what's happening. Okay, I see. My spy says that Byzantium is comically undermanned. And I'm just going to be taking every mercenary between me and there. With my 8-star faction leader. How old is he? 57? He might survive to the end of the campaign. Oh, yeah, it's more than a transgression, buddy. It's basically an official declaration of war. Oh, shit, he has an oracle, which is apparently just incredible and gives you +1 everything. Oh, what's our Senate mission? I honestly don't even know. They want me to take Halicarnassus. For the first time in a long time, I agree with them. I would love to take Halicarnassus. Okay, this man needs to continue going to eventually conquer Numidia. There's no mercenaries on account of the fact that I'm in the fucking Sahara Desert. That checks out. We're going to build a pile of rams and see if there's any mercs here. And there are. I will gladly take them. We're going to continue looking for anything of value. 2 whole gold. My lord. What will I do with all of this money? And he got a mercenary captain for another command star. That's fantastic news. Gonna continue recruiting Equites and Principes. And once I get this next Equites, I'm probably just gonna send it down, or Principes rather. Actually, Numidia's so weak that I'm gonna try just sending 3 Equites to, I think there's a city here, and if not, there's definitely one here. I'm just gonna try to starve them out with 3 Equites and kill them when they sally forth. I honestly think Numidia's that shit that it'll work. I had a lot of large armies on both, so I don't feel particularly good about. I'm gonna go ahead and make a spy here. Just because I want to do something useful for scouting out Dacia and rebel settlements, and there's no way to build an army there yet. Thessalonica is good enough off that I will be building Principes here. I'll build another Equites here, before starting to send them up to reinforce and build my army. This is the last thing I'm going to be building, I think. I will build an Equites here, and here as well. Man, that's like all of Athens' population for this unit of horsemen. I really just cannot feel good about building units here. Theoretically, if I let them sit for a few more turns, I might be able to build enough units to actually ship something off to Egypt someday. So I don't want to build just yet. But I will build an Equites and Thurman and Larissa to join up with the small amount of army I have here. Is that an assassin? What is this? Yeah, it's an assassin. I'm going to be honest, I don't feel good about that, Dacia. Checking my cities tab, I can see that there are several cities that aren't building anything. Apollina has nothing to build. Iridium has nothing to build. Carthage almost certainly can build something. I'm going to build crop rotation for money and income. Actually, what's the cheapest thing I can build here that's relevant? Alright, they're basically all 1600. I will go with the public baths. Oh no. There's a lot of towns that aren't building anymore. Okay, Lepsus Magnus is unable to build. Okay, so Larissa's getting farms, and that's the last of the money I have for this turn, so I'm not going to be able to do much more. And honestly... Okay, that's a big-ass Greek stack of terrible units. I was going to say I'm going to split up my army and conquer Halicarnassus at the same time as Rhodes. But there seem to be enough units around that I have to take them one at a time, just barely. And I do think sending out these 3 Equites on their lonesome is right. It's a bit of hilarious disrespect to Numidia, but I think it'll work out. So that's it. That's the end of turn 22. Let's see how it goes. Oh hey, a Numidian army just like ran up to mine in the desert. Well, I guess it's as good a time as any to fight that. At least the spying is justified now. But the ship didn't get sunk, which is what really matters. And it's even retreating in the right direction. The rebels are actually just helping me out. Okay. We're almost to Armenia. We've almost done it. He's been traveling for so long. Someone got married. I have a candidate for adoption. I'm just going to say yes and go see where he went. He's an Apollina too. That's nice. It's more units for the reinforcing army. It is going to fight Thrace and Dacia, and eventually Gaul. There's a flash flood, and somewhere I just closed it. This area. Doesn't look like it affected happiness too negatively. Scythia and Armenia are at war. Armenia allied with Parthia, and ceasefire between Carthage and Spain. Okay, time to get disrespectful. I'm gonna take my faction leader, my Principes, these 2 full units of hoplites, the Bastarnae, start splitting them off to the north. To go to Tylos. It's just got 3 Falksmen. Let's check for standing armies before I do this. Yeah, it's just Tylos right now. So, knowing they only have 3 Falksmen, a Peltas, and a General, this might actually be enough. But there's also next to nothing in here. It's just missile cavalry and hoplites. This is a terrible army quality to work with, but I think it's enough. General. Let me step over to Titus and see if there are mercs here, because that'll make my decision making easier. No. I'm going to send over my archers and my Hastati as well. And move on Titus. I mean, we're not declaring war yet. Don't get... Okay, we are declaring war. Get ahead of yourself. We're totally doing it. We're going to maintain here and build rams. This should be fairly easy to deal with, even with this small of an army. Larissa sends out their cavalry. Thurman sends up their cavalry. I get to recruit one more Principe, so that's Thessalonica at least. Probably just the one, though. And we'll have a decent size stack in Bilesora ready to move north soon. Now, where is my injured boat? Right here. I'm trying to remember where the cities are in the base game over here. And I honestly have no idea. So first thing, I'm going to drop off my army here. And I'm going to attack the city. Next, I'm going to use this boat to look around and see if I can figure out where cities are at. I think there's one up here. Oh, hello, Greece. Looks like Greece and Pontus are going at it. I probably will just Dal Pontus immediately if they take this city. So we have two things to do with Numidia down here. We have an incredibly easy siege, but before I do that, let's see what this battle actually looks like. I'm going to believe that I can win this. Are there mercs? There are mercs. I will take them immediately. Oh my, they've only got one unit of cavalry. This is going to be quite easy, actually. Do not believe their lies. This is not evenly matched. It is sort of hilarious, all these desert battles that are just overwhelmingly peltasts.
The hair has been gutted, and the liver was as clear as
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'm using pretty much the exact same strategy I've used every time I do with these armies, which is push their peltasts around with my missile cavalry to stop them from firing back, charge them with my cavalry, and move my peltasts up to start getting in volleys as things drag on. Going to group them, lock them, and move them up here to this other hill. I am not going to be charging uphill into missile units. Okay, so right now, there's no real way to get uphill with them, but I don't at least have to charge up the steepest part of the hill. And in a few seconds, once these are symmetrically positioned, I'm going to start moving towards both sides of the skirmishers so I can actually push them forward. And that moment is now. So the first step of what I want to do is everyone needs to switch to loose formation. And it's basically time to go now that I've switched to loose. So I want to move here and start pushing them around, move here and start pushing them around. I want my whole line of skirmishers to run into range. And only briefly, I'm going to charge into the center of their line with my general, just to make sure they aren't able to freely throw javelins at anyone. Excuse me? Is this running? Doesn't feel like running. What is going on over here? Everything's going according to plan, it looks like. And my general is still completely fine. He's just been running people around for a while. Going to have both of these switch to tight formation now, since they're actually be working more as units designed to attack. I'm going to pull this general back and have him switch to tight. I mean, like, I feel that this is going incredibly well, but it also doesn't feel good at all. They're throwing javelins at me occasionally, but not nearly as many as I'm throwing. It's just this slow, nasty, awkward slog where it's not quite clear if I've already won or if I have to do something. And also, it is a lot like my units are walking in quicksand here. Like, they didn't even put their spears down for the charge, just leisurely strolled over. I'm actually going to put this on double speed. It's so tedious watching my units move in slow motion.
Time to press the attack. The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits running from our men. Rome demands victory.
Yeah, we killed 900 men, lost 45, with largely similar army compositions. Very nice. And then we continue on our trek to go find the city they came from. Next, we have a siege to handle. Let's start the assault. And God, I want to auto-resolve this, but I'm going to suffer so many needless casualties if I do. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I tried to fight this battle on the battle map, and I actually can't do it. My commentary is so bad because I'm so angry at how shit the game is that I cannot fight battles on this map and provide you good content. But I will actually briefly show you why the map is so inexplicably terrible. And I'm hoping that it's not literally every Numidian city that's like this. Because at a glance it looks like not that bad of a city, but there's only 2 entrances to the square and literally no room around it to form up with. For some inexplicable reason, range units near the gates won't throw javelins consistently, they'll do it sometimes, into units on the other side. This looks like a big roundabout terrible thing that's awful to position, but it's actually even worse than that because the roads are just narrow enough that you can't form up units if they're facing forward, only if they're facing sideways. And this thing right here is not a part of a building, it's actually a road that AI, not you, can move their units down very reliably, which makes it absolutely awful to play just about every part of this because of the just god-awful pathfinding. So I'm not going to. I'm going to auto-resolve every single fight that actually is a city looking like this, because I cannot handle it. It is just so bad to play on that specific battle map. So, hopefully we actually win the auto-resolve, otherwise it'll be Tilt City. And yeah, we take 400 casualties against 400 men, which feels pretty terrible, and we enslave the city immediately. Luckily, they can retrain literally all of my units, which I desperately need now. So I guess I'll be here. Oh, I can actually retrain 2 columns of units at a time. So I'll be here for 1 turn while I improve all my units. And I can't actually retrain all my units. I need to build a stables for that, because it turns out... Okay, no, I can't retrain all of my units. I just broke everything in this city. And I'm going to actually break this temple, so I can build one of my own for public order and law. I was looking to move on immediately this turn, but that is not a thing that's going to be happening. So instead, I'll continue sailing down the coast with the intent to blockade the port around here on Numidian's last coastal city. Mediolanum is apparently getting pretty angry about its taxes. Lepsis Magna is furious, and it's built everything it can. Well, that's probably because it built everything it could while it was Carthage, and I should build it while it's me instead. So that doesn't quite get us to actually being happy, which means I will need to recruit a unit of peasants, and I will just disbound these Javelineers. So now all my cities are happy again. I am nowhere near building infrastructure and everything. I've only got 4 or 5 cities building again. It's a vicious cycle. But I will recruit Equites and Balazora since I finished up with the stables. And so I might be hiring a lot of mercenaries next turn in this area, or this area, or this area. Yeah, I'm going to be hiring basically all of this next turn, so I'm going to hold my money. And that is the end of this turn. Let's see how it goes. Thrace determined to spy on every last one of my cities. Okay, let's check notifications and wrap up the video. Yet another candidate for adoption. I mean, I have no reason to say no. And he is all the way up here in Segestica, which actually works for me. I'm going to have him go govern Batavium. And he has 2 influence, it's not nothing. I should definitely be building things in Batavium, if nowhere else. So let's start some crop rotation there. Thrace got dragged into war with the rest of Rome, and there's a new kid in the family. Let's move up all of these units into Bialzora. Imagine if I recruit peasants here, I'll be able to crank the taxes much, much higher. You know, they have nothing from Garrison right now, so I can at least do normal, probably high. I'm going to leave it at normal for this turn, though. And rather than playing out the rest of this, I don't know how long this video will actually be since I spent a decent amount of time complaining in Numidia that I ultimately will be cutting from the video. But if it's short, I apologize for that. This has been Rather Incoherent. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, all of that YouTube algorithm jazz. And I'll see you next time.